my experience prior to this, I've been to plenty of events. I've been to DreamHack in Sweden several times. I've been to Romania playing in events, Germany. I've even been watching events in all of America, living in team house together with my team. I've just all this year I've been traveling all around the world, going to different tournaments and events, meeting new people, meeting new friends. Definitely been one of the best years in my life since I really do like traveling. And yeah, I've got to see a lot of places in the world and play in a lot of different tournaments. So I would say that I have a lot of experience going into this. I really like the offline events more than I like the online ones because the offline events always comes with new experiences. I know that a lot of people don't like traveling as much as I do, but I really don't mind it all that much. And also the same thing with LAN events. I just think it's great, more people that I can interact with and learn from. I'm definitely the social kind of person that wants to meet new people, basically. So I really like offline events and especially LAN events. I love interacting with the Hearthstone people, mostly the Hearthstone pros that I meet at all these events. We travel to so many events together, so we're basically just like a group of friends right now, in my opinion. But I also do love interacting with fans that come up to me. For me, there's a few better feelings than someone coming up to me like, hey, I'm a big fan of you, can I take a picture? I love that kind of stuff. So for me, it's but I like both. There are definitely more popular people in me in the Hearthstone scene, but I think I'm getting there up among the popular players. I would say that I'm at this point a mainstay in the tournament scene, which helps a long way towards something like that. Yeah, I'm one of the players that really likes practicing a lot, way more than most people do. Even for smaller tournaments, I tend to practice for several days just to be well prepared for them. For this tournament, it's actually quite ironic because I didn't know that I would play in it until last night, so I haven't gotten time to practice at all. So this will be quite a new experience for me in this sort of tournament, coming in almost without any practice whatsoever. I know that players like Colento have something absurd, I think over 15,000 wins in ranked and stuff. I'm not like that, but I play several hours a day. Ranked, ladder, practice with friends. I spend most of my day doing Hearthstone related stuff, and a lot of that is also playing the actual game. And not necessarily, there are actually a lot of differences, a lot more than people realize when it comes to tournaments and ladder. On ladder, you can, for example, only be good with one deck and be very successful. And you can also, you're sitting in your own, in front of your own computer, in your comfort zone. When you're coming to a tournament, especially an offline tournament like this, not only do you have to bring multiple decks and be very flexible as a player, but you also have to be able to take the pressure of knowing that there are thousands and thousands of people watching you at any given moment. So for example, I know several great ladder players that just can't perform in tournaments because of anxiety and stuff like that when they play on the big screen. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the casual part. I'm a competitive player most of all. Of course, I like whenever there comes out a new expansion or adventure, but mostly just because there are more cards I can use in ranked mode. So I wouldn't say I'm a big casual fan, but I definitely see the appeal for it to other players. I'm not satisfied with my performance in the online stage of this tournament because I actually got knocked out, and I'm only here because one of the players in the finals dropped out. So I think that I personally could have performed a lot better in the online stage of this tournament, but I also, after analyzing my matches and my games, I know exactly what I could have done different to be more successful in those stages, and I think I can use that now in the finals to perform here instead. In the first group stage, I brought some not My decks were not great. A warrior control, for example, was not tuned at all and played some cards that I definitely should not have played. That also was my downfall in the first group stage when I went 0-3 with my warrior control against one of the Russian players. In the Redemption series against Surrender that I lost to, I tracked the match and saw a couple of mistakes that could have eventually turned into a victory for me in that match. I'll admit I'm not a very good deck builder myself. So usually when I prepare decks for a tournament, I take someone else's ideas. But even if I'm not building the decks, I'm really good at tuning them, like changing a couple of cards here and there to make a good deck into a perfect deck. That's what I think is my big strength in Hearthstone. I also like on our team, people are good at different things. Like Saleh, for example, is a warrior expert. We have Firebat being a very good rogue player, for example. I have Amnesia, he's great with Druid. Amas knows his priest very well. And I like to get help from the experts of any given class whenever preparing decks for tournaments too. My best class is, a lot of people will be disappointed, it will be a Hunter. That's the deck I feel most comfortable with, and I know all different sorts of playstyles with the deck, and every time I bring a Hunter to a tournament, I feel very comfortable that I'm on my own, can conclude what the best kind of build for any given metagame is, and also the deck I'm most comfortable playing in the entire game. My favorite card is Loatheb. I just think that's a very unique effect that is not broken in any way and just interacts with gameplay on a very different level than any other card does, and it's also very powerful. The nerf of Warzone Commander, while I agree with the balance change, I really agree with them changing the card and totally making it a new card, because the effect of Warzone Commander was way too powerful for Hearthstone. Charge is the most powerful keyword in the entire game, and not something that should be granted to minions that are not supposed to have a charge. So while I agree with the balance change, fully, I don't agree with doing it this close to BlizzCon. I realize why to do it, because from a viewer's perspective, it is great that there will be no Patron Warrior. A lot of people will be more excited seeing how the metagame develops without Patron. But then again, the players are being put in a very awkward situation now, where all their practice they've done for Road to BlizzCon regionals and throughout the whole year has been very based on a Patron metagame, and all of that is just swept under the rug, and they have to start from the beginning, and they only have 2 weeks to do so. So I think they put the players in a pretty bad position, but those are also just like 16 people out of 30 million that are playing, so I can't understand why Blizzard did it. I would probably try even harder than Blizzard already has to make the classes more balanced. As for now, it's been a lot of like the 3 or 4 most popular classes I haven't played a lot in tournaments. I would try really hard to push the classes that are not being played as much right now. I would try to make Shaman a lot better, Priest a lot better, and just, you know, it is a very hard thing to do, but something I would definitely put my full focus on if I were a developer of Hearthstone. Shaman, it is on a fundamental level, there's a lot of RNG involved in Shaman, so it's a class that is very hard to make good. I think they need to really push the boundaries with Overload, just like they tried to do with Totem Golem, which turned out to not be as powerful as I think that Blizzard would have hoped. But I think the key is to the Overload cards that exist now are quite underpowered, even though they have very strong effects. And I think I would try to push the Overload cards and the Overload theme a lot more. I think Patron Warrior has been the most annoying and boring thing, even though I am playing it a lot myself. I don't think the gameplay of that deck is very interactive and fun, but that is soon to be not a problem anymore. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about how things are right now. Right now, I think I want to see Purple do well. Purple is the one I'm cheering for in BlizzCon, for example, and somebody that I would definitely be a big fan of if I was not playing professionally myself. Or well, I am still a big fan of it, even if I am playing professionally myself. But yeah, Purple. Coaching, I think that's something that that a lot of players that are trying to take their game to the next level are very appreciate a lot. I've been trying coaching myself, and actually, from the people I've been coaching, I've heard a lot of positive results. Like people that couldn't get past rank 5, for example, that like a month later or so told me that I hit legend. I definitely think Hearthstone is something that you can learn other people. Like there's no physical like thing that is stopping you from becoming good at Hearthstone. It's all in your mind. So I think coaching is a very valuable thing to do in Hearthstone to make other players become better. All the traveling and meeting all the people, that's definitely the best part of being a pro player. There's a lot of pressure on you. I actually can actually think of when I was not a pro player and when I was up and coming. It was so great because when I did poorly, nobody cared. And when I did good, like people were happy for me. But now when I'm a pro player, like when I do good, like people are really happy for me just as they were before. When I do badly, I also have like fans and people that not necessarily get upset, but get sad and disappointed, and you have a lot of expectations on you as a pro player, and that can be a little bit too much sometimes. I actually had a losing streak here just a couple of months ago, and what I did was just I tried to analyze when I had like a really good streak, what I did during that time. I tried to recreate that. For me, it meant a lot of more practice. I tried to rebound with some friends that I haven't talked to in a while, that I practiced a lot with during that time, and I just tried to go back in the old ways of when I won a lot, and eventually that worked, and now I feel like I'm in shape again. My most difficult opponent, I'm never really comfortable going into a match against the three of Colento, Ostkaka, and Life Coach. I think those are the three players that I'm the most afraid going into playing a match against them, because I know that they are very tight technical players and I will not be able to capitalize on mistakes that they do. I'm actually quite new to casting events. I was really excited to get to do that again here after only having a few events where I've actually been able to cast. That is something that I am trying to do as like my secondary thing. Like my main thing is trying to be the best tournament player I can be and perform in tournaments. But if that's not possible, I really want to see how good of a caster I can be, because I think it is very interesting to be able to reflect my thoughts on the game to other people. My biggest advice to players that want to take their game to the next level that I see a lot of people do is that when they go on a losing streak, a lot of players try to blame RNG. And it's very easy to do in such a game that actually just like the word random is on a lot of cards these days. And it's very easy to just be like, yeah, I lost, it was because of RNG. But my advice to you is to look back on the games you actually played, analyze them, and I promise you that almost all the time there is something you could have done differently to prevent that from happening in the first place. So just like instead of being mad and telling yourself that you're unlucky, go back and analyze and see what you could have done differently. What I'm doing now is kind of what I want to do. I want to, of course, right now my goal is to become, my end goal is to become the best player in the world, and I'm not anywhere close to that yet, so that is a goal I'm striving for. Looking into the future, even if I can't remain a professional player for a really long time, I want to work within esports in one way, shape, some kind of way, like even if it's being a manager, organizing events, whatever. I know that I want to do esports going in the long run. Winning BlizzCon is certainly a dream of mine. I was really close to actually qualifying this year, and I still can't. I still can't forget like the moment where I actually lost and realized that I'm not going to BlizzCon this year. So I think that winning BlizzCon is definitely some kind of end goal. I will feel like, yes, now I accomplished this that I've dreamed of for so long. Being number one on GOSA ranking is something I've already done, but it would be cool to get back there again. So I think like my end goal is to prove to myself that I am this good of a player to win BlizzCon. My best friends in the Hearthstone community are, I've lived together with some of my teammates for a really long time, so they are definitely some of my closest friends. Every single one of my team are people that I really do respect as humans and friends. They are very important to me, but also there are some people that may not be the most popular players on the tournament scene, but are still well established on pro teams and that have been with me since I started. And those players are, it's Freaky from SK Gaming, Spo plays for the same team, it's Martin Creek, also plays for SK Gaming, Schismatron, who is currently teamless, and then we have some other people that are not pro players but just have been around all this time. Like his name is Silas, he costs a lot. Those are my absolute closest friends, and just in general, and have been with me since I started playing Hearthstone.